White sails of schooners and sloops, saw the ships at anchor. How do I know how to read this? Because I'm an American. I didn't come, my parents, or not my parents were born in America, but my great-grandparents came from other places, my great-great-grandparents. But I'm here now, and I'm part of this culture in this continent. And the rhythms of my speech are the rhythms of the American speech, because I've absorbed the rhythms of the American speech by osmosis, the same as you have. So you can read this poem, whoever you, whether you came from Latin America, whether you came from Eastern Europe, whether you came from Africa or wherever. This is the rhythms of your speech. And so you can respond to Whitman because he speaks the way you speak. And it's funny, it's still the same, really. But a European or some other country reading this poem, they haven't got a clue how to read it. Their speech patterns are totally different. You don't realize if you hook up a guy like Whitman, you don't realize how close you are to him. The weird thing is this is 1855. This is 150 years ago. And yet, the speech patterns are recognizable, aren't they? You can, I think you can. You look at, I can do it. Saw their approach, saw aboard those who were near me, saw the white sails of the schooners and sloops, saw the ships at anchor. Look, it comes right out off my tongue, right? I'm sure it comes right off your tongue. You read it out loud. You read it to someone in your family, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, mom, dad, someone, your sister, or whatever. The sailors who work at the rigging or outside they stride the bars. The round masses swing most of the hulls. The sun, it doesn't matter if it doesn't rhyme, you see. It's got a rhythm that just flows like the water flows. The round masses swing motion of the hulls. The slender serpentine pennants, the large and small steamers in motion, the pilots in their pilot houses. I wouldn't even be able to plot that out. I don't know. Does it go da-da-da-da-da-da-da? You know, if you ever in your English classes have to parse poems and see what the rhythm was and so on, and then I wouldn't even be able to catalog this rhythm, but it's there. The white wake left the passage in the quick, tremulous whirl of the wheels, the flags of all nations, the falling of them at sunset. It is sunset. The scalp edge waves in the twilight. It is twilight. The ladled cups, the frolicsome crescent, glistening, the stretch far, far, growing dimmer and dimmer, the gray walls, the grand storehouses by the docks on the river, the shadowy group, the big steam tugboats flanked on each side of the barge, the hay boat, the bladed lighter, a picture of New York Harbor in 1855. On the neighboring shores, the fire from the beginning of industrialization, from the foundry chimneys burning high and glaringly into the night, probably the reason the North was able to overcome the South in the Civil War, all these foundries and things like that that could produce the equipment and the manpower to overwhelm a more agrarian society. Casting their flicker of black contrast with wild red and yellow light over the tops of houses down in the festival streets. If you take the Circle Line boat when you go visit Manhattan and go up the East River, you'll see these same foundry chimneys sitting up there at night with their glow. Power stations and things. These and all else, number 4, were to me the same as they are to you. That's the message that's being sent. Once again, I stand somewhere waiting for you. These and all else, just about the same message repeatedly here, were the same for me as they are to you. He thinks you're feeling the same things he feels. He thinks if you were standing on the side of the railing of the boat, you would be seeing and feeling what he's feeling. And he thinks that brings a correspondence. The only problem is he doesn't realize, for most of us, there are no ferry boats left. And we're not going to be standing by the ferry boat looking at what he's looking at, and the harbor isn't going to look the same anymore. He's not clever enough, I think, to understand or perceive that change happening. But other than that, I think he's right to some extent, that we are going to feel what he feels. Each person who lives repeats a certain feeling. Loved well these cities, loved well the stately and rapid river. The men and women I saw were all near to me. He likes them all again. You see, he doesn't distinguish between men and women. He's not a misogynist. He's not a chauvinist. He just loves. Others the same. And there's that others theme again. Others will look back on me because I look forward to them. You're going to look back on him because he's looking forward to you. So now he's gotten personal, hasn't he? The message is totally personal. Does he he likes you, obviously. He thinks he does anyway. But he thinks that because he's looking forward to you, you're going to be looking back on him. He's talking to you, each person here reading the poem. Now that I've forced you to read it, you're one of the people that he's addressing. He didn't like the tree in the forest. If the tree fell in the forest, and there's no one there to hear it, was there a sound? It's the ancient question. I think there was. I don't think it depends on the ear. But a lot of people think there's no sound without someone hearing it. In any case, this is a similar thing. Suppose you never read this. Are you being spoken to? Well, obviously not. But the moment you have read it, you are being spoken to, and there is a response. So, he's depending, he thinks you're looking back at him because he looked forward to you. And in fact, we are. We don't want to admit it. But now, since it's happened, we are looking back at him. I am, for sure. Whether you're joining me is your business. But depends how much these poems affect you. But I tell you, they're better than most poems you'll read in the New Yorker magazine or the paper or someplace where they print an occasional poem and you say, what is that poem about? That poem tells me nothing.